Hey everyone, Internet PCS book reader here. Today I want to talk about Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Eat, Pray, Love is a memoir of the 36-year-old author who is unhappy with her marriage or just her life in general. She divorced her husband and lived with another man during the divorce procedure. Then after her divorce, she moved out of David's life and then tried to go on a journey and try things she has never tried before. She went to Italy and tried to learn Italy and eat foods without limiting herself and tried being a celibate in Italy. No sex allowed. She then moved to India to learn yoga, not the workout routine but the philosophy. And then later on she moved to Indonesia and lived also with a spiritual guru there. And then after that she finished her travel and then the book ends. There is a lot of things that is romanticized in the book. There's a lot of romanticization of the places she went to. She tried so hard to make it feel like she's in a movie where she moved to a place to do something important there, but it feels more like a tourist making a big deal out of their visit. When she mentioned Indonesia, she even just went to Bali, which is one of the smallest islands in Indonesia and a blatant tourist destination. And that's kind of the vibe that the book gives. Like how the author is romanticizing being a tourist, she's also romanticizing grand gestures. There's a very heavy main character syndrome in the writing on how she's trying to portray a lot of the activities done in the book. At the beginning of the book, she said she was unhappy to sell everything that she owned, but then out of the book she just tried to do the same things that makes her unhappy at the start of the book, but on a much larger scale, on a more expensive scale, with a higher price tag. The Italy part for some reason is America's stereotype of European lifestyle that made people understandably cannot stand Emily in Paris. After spending a very limited amount of time in a very small section of Rome with very specific people, she concluded that Italians are lazier or know how to do nothing better than Americans, which is not only such a projection of her own insecurities, but also an overgeneralization of both American and Italian that I'm kinda impressed she got that after talking to only a few people. And I'm not so sure about the India part since I haven't read enough or talked enough about the culture there, so I don't know how much of her activity there is a tourist trap. But the Indonesia part is definitely a very touristy view of Indonesia. It even made the usual tourist mistake of Bali equals Indonesia, and as an Indonesian I can confirm that despite its cultural significance, the medicine man that she met is a tourist trap. She even got scammed as a tourist there. You'd actually have a better experience at going to Bebek Tepi Sawah than going to the Medicine Man. The book is by no means badly written, it's nothing great, but not the worst I've read. The author at least kinda know how to tell a story, but most of the observation is very superficial and surface level. She's not wholly ignorant with it, but it's still a very privileged tourist observation. This especially look problematic when she goes to India and Indonesia, which is still a developing country. Part of it feels like rich people testing out being poor for a while. But my main problem with the book is how much she romanticized traveling and everything in it a bit too much. To the point of the experience becoming fantasy-like, the book makes Pixar up feel like something that happens in the neighborhood. She even mentioned that for her, travel worth all cost and sacrifice, which I don't know how people didn't take a double take on that statement. Especially added with earlier mention that she is so unhappy having to work. It really feels like she want her cakes and eat it too. In my review of fiction, especially while reading romance, I often take away point when instead of building the chemistry between its character, the author instead are busy romanticizing romance to the point of the character relationship feel delusional. Somehow for a non-fiction, this book have those same delusional vibe. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to gatekeep how she use her money, and I'm also not trying to belittle anyone's selection of escapism. Escapism is a good way to reduce your stress level, and everyone have their own mode of escapism even if they don't call it so. But romanticizing escapism can blur the fact that the act itself is escapism, and you can mistake it as enriching yourself or living your best life, especially with a price tag, when in fact it is just a distraction to get away from whatever stress you are. Escapism is a tool. It's a very useful tool to give you more time, but it's not the tool to fix yourself. Because once you got back from the escape, you still have to face your stress. So if you only have escapism as a way to face whatever stress you have, you only have two modes of living, escaping or dreaming of the next time you can escape. And this can be seen in the life of the author, since her life don't actually have that end credit scroll. And speaking of end credit scroll, the book for some reason have been adapted into a movie. Well, for a fiction it's fine I guess. It's nothing great, but not offensively bad, but because it's a biopic about a real 36 years old woman, it weirdly tried too much to clean up the story, especially at the end when the movie is concluded with a happy ending where the main character found her romantic interest and they live happily ever after. The book also forced a romantic conclusion like in the movie, but not as far as the movie does. And from what I tried to check, even after the book ends, the author still basically try things out like in the book to find happiness. Compared to her life before her journey in the book start, she still moved from place to place and stranger to stranger. And if she hadn't changed, I highly doubt if she's happy doing the same thing that had been tried in the book over and over again. Because of that, the book feels more like a definition of insanity instead of a good advice on life. If it's just from the book, the author honestly seems like she's not happy with who she is as a person. Here's the thing though, it doesn't matter where you go if you're unhappy with yourself despite being able to have everything you wanted. Because if you're unhappy with who you are, what you need to change is on the inside, not on the outside. Even if you change the coordination you're at, you're still bringing the same person inside of you elsewhere. What you need is not external change, it's internal change. I'm talking only about the person described in the book, not anyone in general. But changing your husband or boyfriend is just changing something externally. Changing the country you live in is just changing something externally. Changing the house you live in is just changing something externally. Yet the author doesn't seem to have any awareness that everything she did mostly just changing what's on the outside, the external, instead of working on herself. In the book, the author is a little self-aware, but only to the point where she can make a few sarcastic self-depreciating jokes, like, "I'm so needy, men love that about women, am I right guys? But that's as far as she goes. She did not become self-aware enough to the point of introspective, where she realizes the one at fault and will need to change herself. She even found taking care of your loved one as part of an obligation. Well, yes, it can be a burden, but putting it on a list along with work and having to go take care of your teeth is widely unsympathetic to your loved ones. There's even a segment while she's in Rome where she's jealous of a tourist while in Rome, and she's aware that it's absurd that she's jealous of another person traveling while she's traveling. But then she continues with, actually I'm doing things that only civilians do here, so technically I'm not a tourist, which is such a weird thing to put on print and publish. I can empathize with the author for being lonely and depressed and want to change, but it's hard to sympathize with her since the book kinda makes her look very childish. It's like she tried things out for its novelty, then once the novelty is lost, she gets bored and then abandons them. Her relationship goes like that, where she got bored and then leave. She left her husband at the story for another man, and then she left the man at the end of the book for another person again. The things she did in Italy is just for when she's in Italy, the things she did in India is just for when she's in India, and the things she did in Indonesia is just for when she's in Indonesia. The author is testing out spiritual lifestyle like it's some kind of a trending diet that she eventually got bored of. It did not seem like she sticks to any of them. And because of that, it doesn't feel like she's learned from anything from any of the book. So I really don't see the point of this book beside a grown-up diary that still acts like a child. A story about someone who avoided responsibility and commitment like it's a plague. There's a very Peter Pan syndrome quality to the content of the book that is kinda wild that the book not only did not get called out when it first came out, but even adapted to movie. In case you guys forgot, this book is about the life of a 30 going 40 years old grown adult complaining about how unhappy she is with her life, then she travel and is still unhappy. Well, yes, there are a lot of things with the world at large that really sucks and do need change, but if the one who makes you unhappy is yourself, doing the things in this book does not do anything but distract you momentarily from that unhappiness. The author is at around 34 years old at the start of the book, and she's now more than 50s. I don't know if she's matured since then, but I hope that she has since abandoned a lot of the immaturity she's shown in the book. I give this book a 0.25. What do you think? Are you gonna read it? Did I miss anything? Leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it.